A test of trust. The world had just come to grips with the reality that Earth had missed all of the Galactic Council meetings for centuries. The mysterious warning that appeared above Earth's skies had left everyone in shock, especially when scientists and governments struggled to understand its true meaning. No one knew who had sent it or why now. All they knew was that the galaxies had been trying to communicate, and Earth had missed every single chance to join. For the first time in history, humanity's leaders had to face a truth they were not ready to accept. Earth was alone. It had been left out of an intergalactic network of civilizations, and the invitation to join had been long forgotten. Now, as mysterious alien ships hovered above Earth's atmosphere, the stakes had never been higher. Would humanity be welcomed back into the galactic fold, or would they be cast aside as unworthy of the Cosmic Council? The time had come for Earth to prove itself. In the midst of global confusion and chaos, a new group of people was formed. A council of the brightest minds. Military leaders, scientists, and diplomats, all chosen to represent Earth on the galactic stage. This was not just about diplomacy anymore. It was about survival. It was about understanding why Earth had been excluded from the galactic meetings for so long, and more importantly, whether it had the right to become part of them again. A space station had been built high above the Earth's surface to facilitate communication with alien races. For the first time in history, humans would be face to face with beings from other galaxies, not through distant signals or strange lights in the sky, but in real time. The countdown had begun, and everything depended on this moment. As the first alien vessel approached Earth's space station, there was an air of nervous excitement. Every person on Earth was watching. Governments, scientists, ordinary people, everyone had a stake in what was about to happen. The aliens had sent a message in a language no one could understand, but that had only fueled the urgency to communicate. Inside the space station, a team of diplomats was ready. They had spent weeks studying alien customs, trying to learn their languages and practicing what they might say. The astronauts, the scientists, the generals, all of them were trained to handle this moment. But no one could have predicted what would happen next. A single alien, tall and composed, appeared on the screen. Its features were difficult to comprehend. Its skin shimmered with different colors, and its eyes glowed with an intense light that made it impossible to look away. As it spoke, its voice echoed in a deep, almost melodic tone, sending shivers down the spines of those watching. "We have watched you for centuries," the alien said. "Your species has been marked for judgment. You were once a part of us, part of the great Galactic Council, but you have been forgotten. Now we test your trustworthiness." The words sent a wave of panic through the room. "Test your trustworthiness?" the human representative asked, his voice trembling slightly. "Yes," the alien replied, its eyes narrowing. "The Council has been patient. But now we need to see if you are ready to return. A galaxy is not built on power alone. It is built on trust, cooperation, and understanding. Are you capable of these things?" For a moment, no one spoke. The tension was thick, and everyone realized how much was at stake. Earth had been given a chance, but it wasn't just any opportunity. It was a test. The kind of test no one had prepared for. Could humanity prove itself worthy? The aliens' words hung in the air, and the silence stretched on. The Council on Earth knew this wasn't just a diplomatic meeting. This was a battle for humanity's future. If they failed this test, Earth could be forever excluded from the Galactic Alliance. The consequences of failure were unimaginable. But if they succeeded, it could mean a future beyond anything humans had ever dreamed of, access to the vast knowledge of other civilizations, resources beyond measure, and allies that could help solve Earth's greatest problems. But how could Earth prove it was trustworthy? How could a species that had fought wars for centuries, that had divided itself into nations, religions, and cultures, show the Galactic Council that it had learned the value of cooperation? How could Earth demonstrate that it could be part of something bigger than itself? The alien spoke again, this time with a hint of warning in its tone. This is your final chance. You will be given a task, a mission. You will be tested in ways that will challenge every belief you hold about yourselves. Fail, and you will be left to your own devices. Succeed, and you will find your place among the stars. The tension inside the space station reached its peak. Everyone realized that there was no turning back. The fate of Earth was in their hands. Tell us what we must do, the human representative said, his voice firm despite the anxiety that gripped his heart. The alien's face remained unreadable. As it responded, you must prove that you are more than just a species capable of violence and greed. You must show us that you are capable of empathy, cooperation, and honor. Only then will you be allowed to join the Council. A moment passed, and then the screen went black. Everyone on Earth waited in stunned silence. The challenge had been set, and now the clock was ticking. How would humanity face this test of trust? Could they prove they were worthy? The future of Earth and its place in the galaxy depended on the answer. But one thing was certain. The journey had only just begun. Asterisk, the forgotten path. Silence after the alien's departure was deafening. For hours, the world held its breath, unsure of what was to come next. The test had been laid out before them, and humanity stood on the edge of a precipice. The challenge was not something they had prepared for, not in their wildest dreams. The invitation had been extended, but only after Earth proved it was worthy. The next day, Earth's leaders gathered in a top-secret meeting. The space station floated in the vastness of space, awaiting further instructions. The only thing humanity could do now was to act, and act fast. A single misstep could cost them everything. The human representatives felt a heavy weight in their chests. Could humanity, with its long history of conflict and division, ever truly pass the test? And if they failed, what would become of Earth? Would it be cast aside forever, an insignificant planet in the grand scheme of the universe? In the days that followed, Earth's brightest minds began to look deep into its history for answers. What had led them to this point of isolation? What mistakes had they made that had cost them their place in the Galactic Council? Through ancient records and forgotten legends, they began to piece together a startling revelation. The stories of Earth's past were not just stories, they were warnings. There were hidden truths buried under layers of time and secrecy. Earth had once been part of the Galactic Council, long before humanity even knew what the stars held. But something had gone terribly wrong. Something that had torn Earth away from the Council. Some of the greatest minds on Earth, including historians, archaeologists, and scientists, began to uncover these ancient truths. They dug through old ruins, ancient texts, and long forgotten artifacts that hinted at an era where Earth had been a powerful and respected member of the galactic community. But that was before humanity had lost its way. The first of these revelations came from an ancient manuscript, hidden deep in the ruins of a city that had long since been forgotten. The manuscript told of a time when the leaders of Earth had been entrusted with the keys to the galaxy's peace. It spoke of a council made up of the wisest and most powerful beings from every corner of the universe, and how Earth had once been honored with a place at the table. However, as Earth's civilizations advanced, so too did their hunger for power. It started with small betrayals, broken promises, lies, and self-interest. Earth's leaders began to prioritize their own power and wealth over the unity of the galaxy. The once respected planet began to fracture, and in time, the Galactic Council decided that Earth was no longer fit to join in the meetings. The decision had been swift and unforgiving. The manuscript's final words left a chilling thought. Trust is fragile. And once it is broken, the consequences are beyond measure. As this history began to unfold, the representatives of Earth began to understand the true nature of the test they were about to face. It was not just about proving strength or intelligence. It was about trust. A trust that Earth had broken long ago, but there was hope. The documents also spoke of a way to restore that trust. It would not be easy. Earth would have to face a choice that no one had anticipated. They would have to prove that they could rise above their past mistakes. They would have to work together, not just as nations, but as a single united species, to accomplish something greater than any one individual or country could achieve. As the days passed, Earth's leaders knew they had only one chance. The galaxy would not offer them another. The task that the alien had spoken of was their test, but it was also their opportunity to rebuild what had been lost. The alien's message had made it clear. Humanity had to show that it could act as one. It had to demonstrate that it could. Put aside centuries of division, conflict, and mistrust. Earth was being asked to prove that it could transcend its violence. To do this, humanity would need to unite its resources, with a new purpose, its people, and its ambitions. Governments would have to set aside their differences, working together to face a challenge that would push them to the limits of their capabilities. The military, the scientific community, and the people of Earth, everyone had a role to play in this mission. But there was one more twist. The aliens had already warned them that they would face a test unlike any they had ever known. The aliens' final words rang in their ears. This will be a trial of your very soul. To succeed, you must rise above all that you were. Fail, and Earth will be lost forever. It was clear now, this wasn't a test of technology, or military might, or even intelligence. It was a test of humanity itself. Could Earth, with its deeply ingrained flaws, truly overcome its past and unite for a greater purpose? In a desperate attempt to find the answers, Earth's leaders called for a meeting with the alien representative, hoping to clarify the terms of the test. At this time, there was no alien to speak to. The alien's presence was gone. The screen had gone dark, and the space station was left in a state of uneasy silence. The leaders were left with no choice but to trust in themselves, to trust in the humanity they knew. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about showing that humanity could evolve, that it could learn from its mistakes, and that it could work together as one. The alien had said it best. Trust is fragile. And now the fate of Earth rested on whether humanity could restore that fragile trust, not just with the galaxy, but with each other. The test had begun, and the world watched with bated breath, waiting to see if humanity could rise to the challenge, or if it would once again prove itself unworthy. Asterisk the shifting tides of trust, the space station floated silently above Earth, its enormous metal structure reflecting the harsh light of distant stars. The world below was in turmoil. Governments scrambled to communicate. People argued about what the test meant, and everyone seemed to have an opinion on how Earth should proceed. The fate of humanity rested on a single elusive idea: trust. But trust was not something that could be built overnight. For centuries, Earth's history had been defined by conflict, power struggles, and broken promises. It wasn't going to be easy to undo the damage caused by millennia of distrust, betrayal, and violence. Yet, the alien representative's warning had been clear. To rise above your past, you must unite as one or face the consequences of eternal isolation. This wasn't just a political test. This was about the very essence of humanity, and the pressure was mounting. The Council's message had not just sent shockwaves through Earth's leaders, but also through its people. Everyone felt the weight of the challenge now, but few understood just what that would entail. It was in the midst of this pressure that an unexpected discovery was made, one that would change everything. Deep within the archives of Earth's oldest civilizations, Scientists stumbled upon something that had been overlooked for centuries, an ancient artifact, buried under layers of time and history. It wasn't a weapon, or a star map, or a tool. It was something far more powerful. It was a scroll that contained the last known words of Earth's original guardians, the ones who had once sat at the Galactic Council table. This scroll, older than any civilization, contained not only Earth's forgotten history, but also a warning. It spoke of a great betrayal, not by Earth's leaders, but by the Council itself. Long ago, before humanity had even discovered fire, a cosmic entity, known as the first race, had shaped the foundations of the galaxy. This race had once invited Earth into the fold, hoping to share its wisdom and resources. But something went terribly wrong. The ancient scroll revealed that Earth had been expelled, not just because of its leaders' greed, but because of a darker force from beyond the known galaxies that had manipulated the councils for millennia. This force had set the stage for Earth's fall, creating false divisions and using manipulation to sow distrust. The Void, a mysterious, all-powerful entity, had been behind the scenes, pulling strings in the shadows. Its goal was simple: prevent Earth from joining the greater galactic unity. The scroll warned that the Void was still out there, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. This discovery sent a ripple through the global leadership. The alien test was no longer just a matter of proving Earth's worthiness. It had become a race against time. Earth now had to face not only its own history, but an unseen enemy that had worked tirelessly to keep it out of the galaxy's affairs. To be accepted back into the galactic fold, Earth would need to confront this threat. This realization added a new layer to the challenge. Earth wasn't just fighting for a seat at the table. It was fighting for its very survival. The Galactic Council, for all its wisdom, had its own share of enemies, one of whom had manipulated events to keep humanity in the dark. Now it was clear, Earth was not the only one being tested. A new plan was put into motion. Earth's leaders, now more unified than ever, put aside their political differences to form a coalition. Scientists, engineers, diplomats, and military strategists worked together in secret. The task wasn't just about showcasing humanity's potential for cooperation. It was about preparing to fight the unseen enemy that had interfered with Earth's destiny for so long. A vast network of satellites and telescopes was established, scanning the heavens for any signs of the Void's return. Every part of Earth's military forces was put on alert, prepared to defend not just against alien invaders, but against something far more insidious, a force that had remained hidden for eons. The timeline was set. Humanity would have to prove itself to the Galactic Council, but also uncover the truth behind this mysterious foe before it was too late. The first test of Earth's cooperation came when a distress signal was intercepted. A galactic ship drifting in the Void had sent out a call for help. The signal wasn't just a cry for rescue. It was a message encoded with knowledge about the Void. The Galactic Council had known of the threat, but they were powerless to act. Earth, however, had something the Council didn't: the will to fight back. In response to the signal, a fleet of Earth's best ships, equipped with newly developed technology designed to track and combat the dark forces, was launched into space. This wasn't just a diplomatic mission anymore. It was Earth's first true test of strength, unity, and survival. The fleet journeyed deep into the unexplored regions of the galaxy, beyond known star systems. As they approached the source of the distress signal, the first signs of the Void's presence appeared: flickers in space, ripples in the fabric of reality itself. The Void's power was like nothing they had ever encountered. A dark, almost unnatural energy twisted the stars around them, distorting their path. But Earth's fleet was undeterred. As the battle with the Void's agents began, Earth's unity and resolve were put to the ultimate test. Every ship, every soldier, every scientist and diplomat worked together as one. There was no room for division, no space for failure. Earth was in this together, or not at all. The battle was long and brutal, but Earth's forces proved their worth. They defeated the agents of the void, sending a clear message to the galaxy. Humanity was not only capable of defending itself, but could stand as a powerful ally in the face of darkness. The void, it seemed, had underestimated the strength of humanity's spirit. With this victory, Earth made a bold statement to the Galactic Council. They had faced an ancient threat, defeated it, and proven their capacity for unity and cooperation. The void, once the greatest obstacle to their acceptance, had been pushed back for now. But this was just the beginning. Earth had proved its worth in battle, but the true test was still ahead. Could humanity keep its trust intact, not just with the Council, but with each other? The message was clear. The test of trust had begun, and the tides of fate had begun to shift. But the galaxy was vast, and there were still forces working in the shadows. The real journey was only just starting. The hidden truths, the victory in the void, was only the beginning. Earth had proven that it could unite to face a common enemy, but there was something deeper lurking beneath the surface, something far more complex than a simple galactic power struggle. The success of Earth's fleet had earned them the respect of the Galactic Council, but it also unearthed a question that had haunted Earth's leaders from the very beginning. What if the Council was hiding something from humanity? The recent events had sparked curiosity, but this curiosity was not without its dangers. The more Earth's leaders dug into the ancient records and historical artifacts, the more they uncovered disturbing truths about the true nature of the Galactic Council. Earth's history of betrayal was not a story of simple ambition. It was part of a much larger, much darker narrative, a narrative woven into the very fabric of the galaxy's power structure. As Earth's best minds continued to study the ancient scrolls and the newly discovered archives, they began to piece together something terrifying. The void was not just a random entity. It was a creation of the Council itself. The Council, in its early days, had created the void as a tool, a weapon, to maintain control over the galaxies. It was meant to be a force that would scare and divide civilizations, keeping them under the Council's dominion. But somewhere along the way, the void had broken free from its creators. It had grown beyond their control, evolving into a power so vast and unpredictable that even the Council feared it. The truth was unsettling. The Galactic Council, which Earth had once aspired to join, had played a dangerous game with cosmic forces. And now, Earth had to decide. Should they trust the Council, knowing what they had done, or reject their invitation to join the greater galactic community and face the void alone? But there was a more immediate problem. The distress signal Earth had intercepted, the one that had led them to confront the void, had not been a simple cry for help. It had been a trap. The ship that sent the signal was actually a decoy, a tool used by the Council's enemies to test Earth's resolve and its ability to uncover the truth. The Council had known about the void's growing power, but they had not been forthcoming about the true nature of the threat. They had allowed Earth to believe it was fighting for survival, while all along, the void was simply a pawn in the Council's larger scheme. The revelation rocked Earth to its core. The idea of joining the Council, of becoming a part of this galactic network, seemed more dangerous than ever. If Earth were to join, would they become just another cog in a vast, manipulative system? Or would they be able to stand alone, forging their own path in the galaxy, free from the Council's hidden agendas? This uncertainty led to a deep divide within Earth's leadership. Some believed that humanity should continue on the path of unity, trusting that they could work with the Council to reform it from within. Others argued that the Council's manipulation of the void was unforgivable, and that Earth should remain independent, rejecting the galactic community entirely. The decision would be made soon. The Council had given Earth a timeline to respond. But with each passing day, more questions arose. What would Earth's place in the galaxy be? Was it destined to become a puppet in a galactic game, or could it forge its own destiny? As these tensions built, a new, unforeseen complication emerged. On the fringes of space, a new force, an unknown faction, had begun to make its presence known. This faction had been lurking in the dark corners of the universe, far away from the Council's watchful eye. They had no allegiance to the Void, nor to the Council. They were a rogue collective, a mix of exiled civilizations and lost races forgotten by the mainstream galaxies. They had been watching Earth's rise, and now sought to make contact, offering an alternative to the Galactic Council's rule. This new faction, calling themselves the Outliers, claimed to have knowledge of the true history of the Galaxy One. That was far older and far more mysterious than even the Council understood. According to them, Earth was not just a lost species, it was a key to a hidden truth that had been buried for millennia. The Outliers revealed that Earth's ancestors had once been part of an ancient alliance that predated the Council itself. Earth had been a central player in a galactic conflict that had reshaped the very nature of the universe. When the Council formed, they had erased all traces of this ancient alliance, ensuring that no one would remember Earth's true place in the cosmos. But the Outliers remembered, and they believed that Earth could play a pivotal role in the galaxy's future, not as a subject of the Council, but as a leader of a new independent alliance. This new revelation threw Earth's leaders into further chaos. The Outliers claimed that by rejecting the Council and embracing a new order, humanity could free the galaxy from the Council's manipulative grasp. The cost, however, would be high. To join the Outliers would mean stepping away from everything Earth had ever known, its alliances, its hopes for galactic cooperation, and its place among the stars. The Council, meanwhile, grew suspicious of Earth's growing connections with the Outliers. As humanity's position in the galaxy became more complicated, the Council began to tighten its grip. Alien diplomats were dispatched to Earth with veiled threats, warning that any decision to reject the Council's invitation would have severe consequences. If Earth refused to join, they would be branded as traitors and cast out forever. With no hope of survival against the Void and its agents, the time had come for Earth's decision. But the choice was not clear-cut. Should humanity embrace its newfound independence and ally with the Outliers, forging a new path in the galaxy? Or should it join the Council, even knowing the dark secrets it held, in hopes of maintaining peace and security? As Earth's leaders gathered for the final vote, the tension in the room was palpable. The future of humanity and its place in the cosmos rested on the choices they made in this moment. The Council's representatives awaited Earth's decision. But Earth's leaders knew this was more than just about joining a galactic body. It was about trust, a trust that had been broken long ago. And so, with the weight of the universe bearing down on them, Earth's leaders made their choice. Galaxy would never be the same again. Asterisk the breaking point the vote was cast. Earth had rejected the Galactic Council. The decision rippled through the corridors of power, like a stone tossed into a vast cosmic ocean. The implications were immediate, and they were far-reaching. The Galactic Council, which had once offered Earth a chance to join its ranks, now turned its gaze toward the rebellious planet with growing suspicion and even fear. The rejection was not just a diplomatic decision. It was a declaration of independence. Earth had made a choice to carve its own destiny, no longer bound by the chains of a corrupt and manipulative council. But this new path came with unforeseen consequences. The galaxy, a place of intrigue and shifting alliances, was not ready for a rogue planet like Earth. The Council's influence extended far beyond politics. It controlled trade, technology, and communication between the galaxies. To turn away from it now meant isolation. Earth would face the wrath of both the Council's enforcers and the remaining forces of the Void, the Outliers. watching from the shadows, had promised to stand by Earth, but their true power was still unknown. They had warned Earth's leaders. That rejection would come at a cost they had not fully grasped. The galaxy was not a forgiving place for those who defied the status quo, but it wasn't just the Council that Earth had to worry about anymore. The void, which had lurked on the edges of the galaxy, began to stir. For the first time in centuries, it felt a shift in the cosmic balance. The ancient force that had once been a tool of the Council had found a new purpose in this galactic: rebellion. The void was no longer merely an enemy of the Council. It had become an ally of those who sought to destroy the fragile peace between galaxies. And now, Earth stood in the middle of a war they hadn't anticipated. As the dust settled, Earth's leaders retreated to their command centers, uncertain of their next move. The military was on high alert, the satellites scanning the stars for any sign of the Council's retaliation. Earth was prepared for an attack, but the true nature of their enemies had yet to reveal itself. Was it the Council that would strike first? Or had the void unleashed its agents upon the galaxy, seeking to destroy Earth's newfound resolve? It was during this time of tension that an unexpected signal reached Earth, a signal that had been deliberately concealed from the Galactic Council for years. The Outliers had unlocked a hidden archive, one that held the truth about the galaxy's oldest and most dangerous secret, the Heart of the Void. The Heart was an ancient artifact, older than the Council itself. It was the source of the Void's power, a cosmic energy so pure and volatile that it could tear apart entire galaxies. The Council had known of its existence for millennia, but it had been kept secret, hidden away in a forgotten sector of space. The Heart was the true key to the Void's power, and if the Void ever regained control of it, it could reshape the entire galaxy in its image, destroying everything in its path. The decision was as dangerous as it was radical. Entering the heart of the Void meant a confrontation, not only with the Council's enemies, but with the Void itself. It would be a journey that tested the very core of humanity's resolve and trust, but the stakes were too high to ignore. Earth had already rejected the Council. If they were to survive, they needed the Heart's power, and they needed to reach it before the Void did with no time to lose. Earth's leaders made a bold choice. They would embark on a dangerous mission to find the heart of the Void. Outliers, with their knowledge of ancient pathways and forgotten star maps, would guide Earth's fleet to the place where the artifact was hidden. It would be a mission that required absolute trust, not just between Earth and the Outliers, but within Earth itself. The fleet was assembled quickly. This would not be a battle of armies, but a battle of wills. Only the bravest would dare join the mission, and only the most loyal would have the courage to see it through. As Earth's ships left their orbit, crossing the boundaries of their solar system and into the vast unknown, they passed through the last veil of protection Earth had. There was no turning back. The Council, the Void, and the Outliers had all become part of the single intricate web of conflict. The galaxy was at a crossroads, and Earth was in the center of it all. The fleet's first destination was a remote star system, one that had long been abandoned by the Council and forgotten by most. It was here that the Outliers believed the heart of the Void was hidden, a place where the fabric of space-time was warped, and reality itself seemed to bend and twist. The mission was simple, but the risks were unimaginable. The further the fleet traveled, the more unsettling the journey became. Gravity wells that shouldn't exist began to warp their path. Stars flickered out of existence. A strange energy field began to take shape, a cold, pulsating force that seemed to feed on the fleet's very existence. It was the Void closing in, and yet Earth had no choice but to press forward. As they approached the final destination, Earth's fleet began to feel the weight of their decision. The heart was not a treasure, it was a weapon. And the moment they laid claim to it, the galaxy would never be the same. They entered a dark, forgotten sector where the stars seemed to be swallowed whole by a creeping blackness. Ahead of them lay the heart and energy source so intense, so powerful, it seemed to resonate with the very essence of the universe. But as Earth's ships drew closer, they knew that something even darker lay ahead. The void was waiting. The breaking point had arrived. Would Earth take control of the heart and alter the galaxy's future? Or would the void seize it first, ending humanity's dream of independence and leading the galaxy into an age of darkness? Only time would tell.